Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If during the course of today's show you see me looking to, reverse the cameras, it would be my right, your left. That is the most easily accessible monitor here in the studio. President Trump is scheduled to hold a news conference, quote, soon, on his legal challenges to the 2020 election. Despite the mainstream media's insistence that there is no evidence of irregularities, voting irregularities, the stench around all of this continues to build. In Pennsylvania, we now know that an analysis of the voting data there shows 23,000 absentee ballots were returned before the day they were mailed. The ballots, when sent out, have a date on them saying we sent said person a mail-in ballot on this day. After receiving the ballot, you fill it out, date it, and return it. 23,000 mail-in ballots have a date of return that is before the date it was mailed. Additionally, 35,000 additional ballots in Pennsylvania were returned according to the dates on the same day they were mailed. Also in Pennsylvania, 51,000 mail-in ballots were returned just one day after the date says they were mailed. Who says the United States Postal Service is slow? We sent 51,000 ballots out on Wednesday. They delivered them with enough time to fill them out, pick them up, and return them in one day. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, we now know 3:42 in the morning, the day after the election, 143,000 votes magically appear for Joe Biden. The explanation that we are given is that these were mail-in ballots. Okay, let's think about this. This extraordinary number of mail-in ballots in the era of COVID-19 could be plausible. 140,000 people say, well, I'm in a high-risk category. I don't want to risk going to the polls. Others may say, I normally take my elderly parents to the polls to vote. I don't want to expose them to that. So 140,000 votes. Here's the problem with this. If the race were that tight, literally a handful of thousands of votes separating the two candidates in Wisconsin, does it not stand to reason that if 143,000 votes magically appeared, at least one would be for Donald Trump? The race is that close, and all of a sudden, 3:42 a.m. in the morning, that I know it's redundant, a.m., it's got to be in the morning, 140,000 votes magically appear. The race is neck and neck. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump was up by 10,000 votes at that point. Additionally, of those 140,000 votes, out of that 140,000 votes, tens of thousands of them only had one mark on the ballot. Tens of thousands of people went through the trouble of requesting a mail-in ballot, and they only voted for one race. Didn't vote for any constitutional amendments, didn't vote for any statewide races, didn't vote for any other race on the ballot. Just that one. If you don't think there's something fishy here, ask yourself this. If the shoe were on the other foot, if Joe Biden were leading by 10,000 votes, and at 3:42 in the morning, 140,000 votes magically appeared, every single one of them was for Donald Trump, and in tens of thousands of those ballots, only one box was checked, completely ignoring every other race. If the shoe were on the other foot, what would you think? Then there's Nevada. An analysis of the voting data there shows over 15,000 people voted in Nevada and in another state. The analysis of the voting data in Nevada also shows untold numbers of dead people voting. And of course, there's Georgia, where thousands of mail-in ballots were delivered in pristine condition. No creases, no folds, despite the fact that when they sent the ballots out, it was accompanied by an envelope that required you to fold or crease the ballot to make it fit in the envelope. Thousands of these mail-in ballots were perfectly marked, black ink, as if someone had gone through with a rubber stamp and stamped each one of them. All of these irregularities are centered in swing states, states that were vitally important to win. There's something rotten in Denmark, y'all. And if you are one of those that is of the opinion nothing out of the ordinary happened, if you are one of those that's of the opinion we need to do whatever needs to be done to change the leadership in the White House, if you are one of those that adheres to the by any means necessary philosophy, I encourage you to consider this. At the end of the day, ill-gotten gains always come back to haunt you. And if we are being lied to about this, what else is the media lying to you about? Remember when you were growing up, you did something that in the grand scheme of things wasn't all that egregious. And your parents caught you. And you've said to yourself, well, it's not really all that important, but I don't really want to own up to it. So I guess my best course of action is to tell a lie. Remember how that boomeranged on you? Your parents, if they were good ones, were more incensed at you than ever. And they would tell you, if you were crazy enough to ask, well, why are you this upset over something that, really wasn't that big a deal? Our parents told us, I'm upset because number one, you lied to me. And number two, if you will lie about this, you will lie to me about anything. This is a wake-up call, America. And at the end of the day, I say again, this is so much bigger than Donald Trump and Joe Biden. There is no universe where these two personalities are the important thing in this discussion. Imagine, if you will, allowing this to go unchallenged and unchecked. What happens the next time when it's your side that's victimized? I know some of y'all don't take the time to think that far down the road because you have allowed the media, the Hollywood elite, those with an agenda to gin your hate up for this administration to the point where rationality has been thrown completely out of the window. Speaking of which, there's a story going around now, and if true, it is as clear an example as you will ever find of Trump derangement syndrome. That's next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I've seen a lot of things during my life, more bad things than good. I've lived in a lot of places, but never a home. I don't think anybody cares about me anymore. And now I'm tired. Signed, Brian, age 11.
Abused and neglected children in East Baton Rouge Parish are in dire need of CASA volunteers. Please call 379-8598 today. Change a life of hurt into a life of hope.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you're a sports fan, particularly a basketball fan, you've heard this story swirling over the last couple of days. And in this age of social media and instant communication, I'm inclined to believe if it were not true, there would have been a tweet, a post of some sort clarifying all of this by now. The story involves James Harden, currently with the Houston Rockets, gained sports fame with his tenure with the Oklahoma Thunder, and the beard, okay? The story is, allegedly, James Harden is turning down the opportunity to become the first player in the NBA to earn $50 million a year, due in part to two things. One, He wants to play for a team that is a championship contender, which no one can hold against him. And two, because of the team owner's support for Donald Trump. I can only hope that the latter is not true. Let me say for the record, James Harden couldn't care less about what I think. With the amount of money that he has, what people think is probably immaterial. But here's the problem. If in fact that's true, then you've succeeded in alienating half of the people that give you your livelihood. Wherever it is that you're traded to, if this is true, half the people that would buy a ticket to see you play will not. Half of the people that would buy your jersey will not. Half the people that would buy a poster of you for your children, for their children, to hang on their walls will not. It's never a good idea to insult half of your customers. If nothing else, we have learned, those of us that didn't know, and had revealed to us, those that did know, in no uncertain terms, we now have a much clearer grasp in this country between needs and wants. Let's understand something here. There are, depending on how you look at it, only 4 or 5 things that we as human beings need. Without these things, we die. Air, water, food, and you can throw in shelter and clothing. If you live in a particularly arid climate, you can get away, if you have the right shelter, without clothing. It becomes a luxury. If you live somewhere where it's 80 degrees year-round, 85 degrees year-round, clothing in the right shelter is optional. These are the only things as a human being you, quote, need. Everything else is a want. Professional athletes, the Hollywood establishment, folks of that ilk, for whatever reason, have yet to come to terms with the fact that they need us. We don't need them. You need me to watch your games. You need me to support the sponsors that sponsor the broadcast. You need me to buy tickets to sit in an arena and watch you play. You need me to buy your jerseys, your overpriced tennis shoes, and all the other paraphernalia that comes from being a fan. I don't need you. I may want to watch a game, but if I don't, in the vernacular of the streets, it ain't no skin off my back. long as I have air, water, food, shelter, and clothing. What it is going to take, and it's befuddling to me, after NBA rankings, because of their social justice stand, went in the toilet, they still haven't learned. The NFL ratings in the toilet, still haven't learned. Now, if this story is true, James Harden turning down and demanding a trade, turning down $50 million a year, demanding a trade because the team owner is a supporter of Donald Trump. Ask yourself this: what would happen if the owners said, if you voted for Joe Biden, you need to find another team? Oh my God. But there's something that is more disturbing to me. As a black man, you are saying, in essence, and it's pretty obvious, if this is true, it's pretty obvious that James Harden, like so many other of my fellow people of color, have no idea that Joe Biden is responsible for writing the bill that locked up unjustly more of my black brothers and sisters, my fellow Americans, than any other person since Jim Crow. Now, it's bad enough to want to play for someone who supports this guy, but at the same time, you're voting against the guy that corrected the social injustice. What is so ironic to me is those who claim they're fighting for social justice and fighting against the systemic ills in our country will vote for a guy, Joe Biden, who is the system. Remember the last debate when Joe Biden proudly proclaimed, "I am the Democrat Party"? Remember that? Well, Joe Biden wrote the law, a Democrat, that jailed tens of thousands of black people unjustly. Bill Clinton, who was then president, another Democrat, signed it into law. So you will turn down $50 million a year. If the story is true, you will turn down $50 million a year, demand to be traded, and only for a team owner who supports the guy that locked your brothers up. Meanwhile, you demonize, castigate, call all kind of ugly names the guy who tried to restore justice to the system. If ever you thought that the media is not effective in snookering, hoodwinking, and bamboozling people in this country, now you know. Bottom of the hour break. Marty's getting ready to do this. Let me get this break out of the way. We'll talk more next on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
termites. Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up. Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Unfortunately, the Mardi Gras fallout from COVID-19 continues. Man, it brought back serious memories just now. As does Alan punch up the bump music, or is that Katie? No. When the bump music kicked in just now, and of course with it being the song that I've used for the last 20 years on radio and TV, it brought back memories of Spanish Town. The year that I was the king for the crew of Spanish Town, the band for the ball that year was the Ides of March. And I'm at the Raising Cane's River Center hours before the ball starts. And a group of guys walk in. And I could tell just by looking at them, the way they were dressed, y'all have got to be the band. So I walk up to them, I said, excuse me, you guys the band? They started grinning. Yeah, we're here for the ball. So I introduced myself and said, well, so happens I'm the king this year for Spanish Town. I told them, I said, we've got something in common. And I could see I'd piqued their interest, right? They're like, oh, really? I said, yeah. I said, I host a talk show on conservative news talk radio. Their eyes opened up. And I said, every single day, 5 days a week for the last 15 years, I've started my show with the same song. You got any idea what that song is? They said, no. I said, Vehicle. The Ides of March, just to show you how things just work out sometimes. When I got news that I'd been honored to be the king of Spanish Town, went and met with the officials, and they gave me the rundown what was going on. And they said, you know, every year we have a ball, and we've been planning this since last year. And the band we've selected to play for the ball this year is a band called the Ides of March. Have you ever heard of them? I'm like, have I? I used they're my theme song. It was just so ironic. But I mention all this because it was announced yesterday that the Cool Spanish Town has canceled the ball for this year. Due to the coronavirus and the related restrictions, it just doesn't make sense for them to have the ball this year. I mean, you limit the guests to 250 people. You have to wear masks, can't dance, have to stop selling alcohol at 11 o'clock in the evening. If you've ever been to the Spanish Town Ball, there's no way you could have the Spanish Town Ball and abide by these rules. According to organizers, the parade plans are still up in the air. To my knowledge, Spanish Town has never been canceled. So I am hoping sincerely that something works out and we will still be able to enjoy the irreverent revelry that is Spanish Town. If you've never been to Spanish Town, let me give you a heads up. I know you've probably heard about it, right? If you're easily offended, don't go. Do not go. As a matter of fact, their unofficial motto is, if you came to the parade and you were not offended, we sincerely apologize. Please come back next year and give us another chance. That pretty much says it all. It pretty much says it all. Listen, I know it's not Monday, but I got to do a brief, now that's just stupid. If you're not familiar with it, on Mondays, we do a segment in the show called, now that's just stupid. It seems as though as time goes by, and particularly in 2020, we find ways to do things that are S-T-O-O-P-I-D, not S-T-U. This is a whole different level of stupid. Houma, Louisiana. Law enforcement agencies patrolling a neighborhood in Terrebonne Parish. 10:30 at night, November 11th. They see a guy in a car commit a traffic violation. So they light him up, try to pull him over. Dude hits the gas, takes off, chase ensues. Eventually, Keith Myers, Jr., 25 years of age, stops the car, bails out, hops into a local bayou, attempting to get away from law enforcement. Problem was, dude was not a good swimmer. So it wasn't long after that he starts screaming for help. And of course, law enforcement agents, being devoted to protect and serve, had to swim out and save said dude. Myers hauled back to shore, booked into the Terrebonne Parish Jail on charges of flight from an officer, resisting an officer, possession of drug paraphernalia, reckless operation of a vehicle, and an assortment of other charges. For the record, if you jump into a bayou, a pond, a lake, a river to get away from law enforcement, you might want to consider beforehand just how good you can swim. Just saying. Just saying. COVID-19, more fallout. West Baton Rouge, our friends on the West Bank, not to be confused with our friends in Orleans Parish, in Jefferson Parish, announcing because of COVID-19, they are going to start closing down the bars again. From the ABC affiliate in Baton Rouge, WBRZ, Channel 2, the Parish Council released a statement Wednesday acknowledging that all bars in West Baton Rouge Parish must cease on-site consumption of alcohol immediately due to the parish's coronavirus positivity rate exceeding 10% for the past 2 weeks. The parish must now hit a positivity rate of 5% or lower for 2 consecutive weeks if the bars hope to reopen. Now, that's the bad news for the good folks over in West Baton Rouge. The good news is, according to The Atlantic, article posted today, headline, "The end of the pandemic is now in sight." Nutshell synopsis of this article. Due to the promise of the vaccines released this week, we can all breathe a sigh of relief because COVID-19 will soon be a thing of the past. The only hurdle that we have to get over now is the distribution process, getting it out there, making it available to all the folks that want to take it. Great news, right? The end of the pandemic is now in sight. Now, before you start kicking up your heels, before you pull up your travel agent's number and start scheduling that vacation, I urge you to remember this. Some of y'all are saying, The Atlantic. The Atlantic. Where do I know that name from? This is the same group of folks that gave us the story of Donald Trump insulting the military. Remember that story? The one that turned out to be 100% bogus? Listen, don't get it twisted. In the words of the late Dr. Isaac Patty Greggs, understand me thoroughly. I hope they're right, because I know for a fact every single American is about sick and tired of COVID-19. Every single American is about up to here with what this has done to our lives and our daily routines. But I will be the first to say, anything coming from the Atlantic, much less the rest of the mainstream media. I'm from Missouri, Hoss. You got to show me. What is really interesting about this article in the Atlantic is they talk about one of Marty's favorite subjects, how these vaccines use what is called mRNA. If you haven't heard about this yet, that's your homework. Scary stuff. Real scary stuff. Remember where you heard it. Can't say you don't know now. Just saying. Final break of today's show. We'll bang this puppy out, come back, put that big old pretty bow on it, and we wrap up the Thursday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you were not with us yesterday, you may or may not know that there is a guy that is beloved by millions and suffered a stroke recently. David Atkins is a name that probably only a handful of people readily know. You know him by the stage name Sinbad. Sinbad recently suffered a stroke, and he is dealing with some pretty serious complications. Those of you that are members of the community of faith, I've never met Sinbad, He wouldn't know me if I walked up and introduced myself to him. Know nothing about him other than he is famous for being hilariously funny without being vulgar. But I do believe that he would not mind in the least if you all would be so kind as to keep both he and his family in your prayers. You know, despite what the media tells us, this election is a long way from over. For my fellow Americans who are Democrats, let me caution to not count the chickens before all of the eggs are hatched. For my fellow Americans who are of the Republican persuasion, I admonish you to let not your heart be troubled, because this thing is a long way from over, y'all. And it's almost daily now we find out something new has happened that doesn't quite pass the smell test. For example, we found out today a second county in the state of Georgia has suddenly found thousands more votes. The majority of them are for Donald Trump. Gabriel Sterling in the Secretary of State's office in Fayette County, Georgia, says there were votes that had been scanned and were on a memory card. Problem was, they hadn't been uploaded to the system. He claims that this was easier to discover than the issue in Floyd County because they were able to see readily, easily, that the number of people who were checked in on the early voting file in Fayette was higher than the number of people that actually exist in the county. Now, think about that. In any county / parish, city, state, there are a certain number of people. Of those people, you have children who are ineligible to vote. You have people that are not registered and therefore ineligible to vote. You have people living there that aren't citizens of this country and are not eligible to vote. So by the time you subtract all of these people from the total population, how is it you end up with more votes than people who live there? There are so many things that are statistically impossible in this election. There are so many things that fly in the face of all logic. There are so many things that cannot be easily explained away. We deserve better, y'all. We deserve so much better. And at the end of the day, I cannot stress enough, y'all. This is not about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is not about Democrat versus Republican or Republican versus Democrat. Saw your friend out of the corner of my eye there, Marty. This is about what we will leave for our children. Right by your foot there, Marty. You missed him. You missed it. This is about what we have been blessed with and the responsibility that we have to hand it on intact. At the end of the day, if we allow this to go unchecked and unchallenged, if we allow this in the face of what flies against all logical reasoning, it pains me to say that we will deserve what we get. We have a right in this country, y'all, a God-given right, to be able to cast a ballot and sleep peacefully because we know it will be counted and we know the process is fair. If you have an objective bone in your body and you look at what is before our very eyes, there's no way a reasonable person can come to that conclusion. Notice I said reasonable. That's on you. Which is why this day, maybe more so than any other, I am inclined to say, you know what? You are 100% correct. America, we're not perfect. But doggone it, for this guy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there is no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you by now, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, doesn't matter if you don't. Still ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless.